This is a story about water in Minnesota. Not the water in the state's more than 10,000 lakes. Not the water in the mighty Mississippi River. No, this is a story about unsung water. The water found in Minnesota's bogs.
I am Ashley Leonard. I am the Ecological Land Classification Program Consultant for Minnesota Department of Natural Resources in the Division of Forestry. Today we are at Botany Bog in Itasca County in northern Minnesota, and we're going to go look at a forested peatland and some open peatlands.
Minnesota has more bogs than any other state except Alaska.
We have a lot of bogs. 10% of our land cover is peatlands, which is 6 million acres, and that equates to an area larger than the state of New Hampshire.
A bog is a harsh environment. The water here is acidic. Few plants and animals can survive in such conditions. Sphagnum moss is an exception. It can be found almost everywhere, creating a lush green carpet. It's what biologists call a keystone species, one that the entire ecosystem depends upon. Sphagnum moss makes a bog a bog. It acts like a sponge, absorbing up to 25 times its weight in water. This moss can survive in cold weather, I guess like most Minnesotans. A warmer climate could cause Minnesota to lose its moss and its bogs.
If something should happen climatically, they are very touchy to any sort of change in, weather or hydrology.
What is the future for Minnesota's bogs? An experiment deep in the woods may provide answers. Specially designed enclosures that look like something out of a science fiction movie are part of SPRUCE, Spruce. The acronym means Spruce and Peatland Responses Under Changing Environments. Spruce is a collaboration between the U.S. Forest Service and the U.S. Department of Energy's Oak Ridge National Laboratory. Inside the enclosures, air and soil temperatures are being manipulated to reflect potential future atmospheres.
Spruce is by far the largest climate change experiment on the planet, not just in peatlands or wetlands, but on the planet as far as any ecosystem. The thing that makes spruce unique is the below ground warming part, the soil warming part.
Randy Kolka and Stephen Sebastian are studying the amount of carbon stored in bogs. They drill deep into the peat and pull out layers buried in the past.
This is the top of the core. This core is about 10 feet long, and so we got 10 feet of this organic material that's built up over time in 11,000 years or so.
The organic matter is so well preserved that scientists can identify individual pieces of pollen, seeds, and cones, parts of plants that were alive when the Egyptian pyramids were built. Many of us know how trees remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, but bogs are the true carbon superheroes. Core samples, performed at the very beginning of the Spruce experiment, enable Kolka and Sebastian to understand if and how the bogs are changing, and whether that stored carbon might be released to the atmosphere as temperatures continue to warm.
I am David Weston. I work for Oak Ridge National Laboratory. I'm a molecular biologist who looks at physiological responses of plants.
Weston is installing a monitoring system to look at the impact of a warming climate on moss.
So in the warmer chambers, what we're seeing with sphagnum mosses, they tend to be drier and they're not growing as well.
If we lose moss and bogs, we also lose a major carbon sink. Spruce provides a real look into the future, one that can steer us in the right direction to keep these vital carbon pools healthy and resilient.
Essentially, the loss of that moss is changing the entire community in the biogeochemistry so that it's changing it from being a carbon sink to an atmospheric carbon source. We're now putting more CO2 into the atmosphere. So by losing this one single organism, it's an indicator that we're transitioning these whole systems. It's giving us a window into what a future world may look like.